Hello, everyone. We'll go ahead and wait one more minute for everybody to join us and welcome. Great. I think we can go ahead and get started. Thank you um, for applying some answers in the chat. And if you haven't, go ahead and do so. It's always nice to see where everyone's joining us from. So for today, I guess I can start by presenting myself. My name is Monica. I am from Santa Ana, so SoCal, and I am the MSR Lead Fellow, and there'll be a slide presenting all of us fellows, so look out for that. And this is the Medical School Readiness Information Session by Alliance in Mentorship. Woohoo, Sanana, yes. So today we'll actually be discussing our mission and vision, who, what, and where, and how we do it here for MSR. And I hope that it's insightful and gets you excited for the application and kind of going through the program. As I had stated, here is our slide of the MSR Fellows this year. So I myself in the corner. Um, there's also Raphael, who couldn't join us today, but you'll be seeing him in future sessions. Alexandria Long from Northern California. So if you're up there, she's there too. And Karina, who is on this call. And then Angelica was also from SoCal. Excellent.
Really quick, I see in the chat that some people might not be able to see the screen. Could we get, I'm gonna go ahead and share and reshare, and then could we get a update in the chat if you're able to see the screen? Thank you all. Thank you, Monica.
Of course, no worries. Thank you for catching that. Yeah, so I think I introduced everybody on this slide, and we are the MSR Fellows this year. So you can go ahead and switch to the next slide, please.
So again, this is Karina speaking, by the way. Nice to see you all. So just a little bit about MiMentor's story. So MiMentor was founded at UCLA, so origins in California back in 2012. In 2016, our MiMentor app or community page launched. So hopefully you all are also members of our app and our community page, where you can also get updated with other folks, not only in California, but it seems like also all around the US. In 2020, MiMentor app reached 10,000 members, which is really awesome. In 2022, MiMentor celebrated 10 years, and overall our goal is to have nationwide mentorship for all students. Next slide. And so our mission and values. So the mission of our medical school readiness program, or MSR program, as you might hear it, is to assist you in creating a compelling medical school application that accurately reflects your personal journey in seeking a career as a physician. So through this program, you will learn to share your story by embracing your strengths and passions for medicine, but also create a powerful theme for your application. And then the overall mission for MiMentor is to develop and support innovative mentorship opportunities that will inspire the next generation of diverse healthcare leaders for underserved communities. And our vision is a world where all aspiring and current health professionals have a mentor. Next slide, please. And so who participates in MSR? So pre-meds who are looking for help in applying to medical schools in 2026. People who are looking for comprehensive support with the application process. Personalized one-to-one mentorship for medical students. And as well as other physician leaders in their fields. Personalized one-to-one mentorship. Oh no, sorry, I just said that. Guidance to hone your story of why medicine, a supportive community of like-minded peers, and strategies to create your best application possible. So what we do, we prepare you for a successful medical school application cycle. And how are we going to do that? Well, we have monthly workshops that are about 3 to 4 hours on Sundays, focused on medical school application topics. We have expert guidance through our sessions that are led by physicians and medical students. And we also have interactive learning opportunities. So we have small group discussions during these monthly workshops, and we offer the opportunity for interview preparation as well.
So some of our workshop topics, as we said, this program really is tailored to preparing you to apply for medical school. So a lot of our workshop topics really directly reflect parts of the application or the application journey. So we have topics such as MCAT preparation, which is like a discussion of strategies, the application timeline for both MD and DO schools, personal statement, other impactful experiences, activities and experiences. So being able to really craft those narratives, letters of recommendation, how do you even approach letter writers, school selections, how do you build a strong school, financial planning, wellness topics, which is super important because we definitely want everyone to not only apply to medical school, but to have a strong support network and to really be well while doing it. Application review, health equity and policy, right? Learning about not only the application process and our own journey to medicine, but also what does this look like on a larger scale? How is medicine influenced by health equity policy and also rural medicine, which a lot of you and us may be interested in? And also mock interviews. So as previously stated, having that practice and really be able to refine your interview skills. Next slide, please. And so these are just some of our previous presenters that we've had. So we have clinical and admissions leaders from a variety of medical schools, such as Kaiser Permanente, UCR, UCSF, UC Davis, Morehouse School of Medicine, UCSC, and a lot other amazing schools. And we do say, right, the journey is all of us together, not just each of us individually. And really, a lot of it comes down to building our community. So some ways that we build community is through interactive Q&A sessions with our speakers and also with mentors during small group breakout sessions. We also have writing workshops, virtual self-care activities, and in-person socials, all with this all with the goal to really create community, right? It takes a village and we are our own village. So really helping form those connections with each other. Next slide, please. Where we do it on Zoom, similar to how we are now. All of our workshops are carried through Zoom unless they are in-person socials or other activities. Next slide, please. And when do we do it? So our workshops are held on Sundays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And our first workshop date will be September 28th of this year. So it's coming up really soon. And there are select workshops that are held weekday evenings. So there will be some need for availability, such as writing workshops or other extra workshops aside from our usual Sunday workshops. Next slide. And this is just kind of a very brief overview of what our 2024 to 2025 cohort looked like. And so majority of our cohort were first generation with parents with either a high school diploma, which was around 30% of the cohort, or less than a high school diploma, which was actually 54%. So a great majority had parents with no higher education, so first generation. We also have here to your left, on the left-hand side, we have some comparison of undergraduate science GPAs. And so it shows how many were in like the application, so where they fell in applicants in general, but then also how many actually became part of the cohort. So that's the dark blue, which were the general applicants, versus admitted to the cohort in the light green. And as you can see, it's really varied and it's really spread out across both for undergrad science GPA and general cumulative GPA. So we definitely do not want GPA to be a barrier for any applications or just in general to apply to med school. I personally am someone, who struggled a lot in undergrad and had a lower GPA, but please do not let that deter you from following your dream of applying to med school, and especially not applying to this program. And so we have other graphs here on the right. One of them is a breakdown of age. Similar, we're all over the place in terms of age. And also, do you believe that the area that you served was, do you believe that the area where you grew up and where you live is medically underserved? And a vast majority said yes. So we are all in here together, and for a lot of the same reasons, to serve the underserved. And right, we're all on this journey together, regardless of where you may be, age-wise, GPA-wise, right? We really want everyone to apply. Next slide.
And so it kind of just bounces off of the information that Angelica shared. So this is just a brief overview of some of our stats as well, since the whole goal of our MSR program is to make sure that our cohort members feel well prepared for a successful application process and cycle. So overall, our MSR participants achieved medical school admission rates nearly twice the national average. So for context, the national average for the 2023-2024 application cycle was about 42%. So for U.S. MD granting schools, there was about 52,577 applicants, out of whom the 42%, which was 22,981 matriculated. And this is from the double AMC. So we have some stats from a previous year. So the most recent one we have right here was from our 2023-2024 cohort. And this is just some preliminary data since we're still assessing medical school application outcomes, but final updates are expected by this fall. So if you're interested, we can definitely update you on that. But just as you can see, we definitely, as Angelica mentioned, we have a lot of variety, or I guess a lot of diversity in terms of like where our cohort members are coming from. And we still are doing really well in our medical school admission rate. So hopefully this also gets us kind of like geared and maybe excited for just the potential of, being in our MSR program. Next slide.
So when to apply and when is the deadline? September 1st is the deadline. So you kind of roughly have a little less than a month-ish. So keep on track with that and slowly work through it if you have to. And we will decide in the month of September whether you were accepted or not to the program. And here's the QR code if you would like to use it. But you can also find our our application on our link tree, and as well as our socials have it. So keep on the lookout for that. Before we begin our Q&A, I do want to just state that MSR is such a great program, but I do want to emphasize that it really is what you put into it that you get out. So although we are supporting you by building community and connecting you to mentors, I think it's also very important to highlight that it is a lot of self-initiative to really put in that work and follow the timeline to really get that kind of whole experience and really get out of it what we put in. So it is a great opportunity for all who are closer to applying to medical school. I would definitely recommend you do get a lot of stuff and work in. And then along with mentors, it's just a great opportunity. So I just wanted to state that before we do start our official Q&A. Feel free to type in the chat, but also verbally state your questions. We'd love to hear from all of you and answer as many questions as possible. I guess so that there's no, while we wait for somebody to raise their hand and maybe ask us a question, I can read one of them out loud. It says, what year of undergrad do you recommend students apply to this program? By Myra Moshana, I think. And sorry if I mispronounced your name. So, and you said I'm currently an upcoming sophomore. I think it really depends on when you're planning to apply. I really would say that if you are going straight in and have already, or maybe are trying to explore taking the MCAT, I think it really is, I can't really define an answer for you. I think it just depends on your timeline. We do cater or consider more highly applicants that are closer to applying just because it does serve well for them. And yeah, I think that if you are going straight into medical school, then, sophomore year would be when you would start taking your MCAT and that kind of thing and starting that timeline for you. But I wouldn't define the answer completely. It just depends when you're planning to apply to medical school.
Then I do see in the chat there are like 3 other questions that are kind of similar to the one that you mentioned, Monica. So do let us know if that Monica's answer helped answer that question for you, or if you wanted like more clarification on your specific case, like your specific situation, and maybe we can reply to you directly in the chat as well.
Lupita, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Hi, yeah, I just had a quick question. I'm currently, so right now I am a 4th year. I will be applying to med school in 2027. I'm not too sure if I should apply this year for the program or if I should wait until next year. But I know for a fact I will be applying in 2027. Do you think this time would be good to take on this program and apply?
I think, as I said earlier, it's kind of difficult to give you a defined answer. I know that you did say 2027, so like it might be better for you to apply to MSR next year.
Okay.
However, I don't discourage you from applying this year as well. I think if you maybe don't have like the resources to really define maybe a timeline for yourself or would want
Yeah.
to kind of gauge more of that information for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I was my timeline is I'm gonna definitely take the MCAT by next year of probably by October. I'm already gonna have the MCAT in. So would you say that I feel like it would be better for me to maybe apply next year, right, for the program if I'm planning to take the MCAT in 1 year, basically.
Yeah, the thing is that MSR has more than just the MCAT resources to offer, right? So if you there's like more workshops, writing workshops,
Mhm.
more things and topics that if you would want to get more resources on, it'd be beneficial for you to apply. It just really depends on like your timeline, your time commitment, whether you would want to spend maybe more time studying for the MCAT, if this is a good program for you. Now it just kind of like measuring your priorities almost and
Okay,
just kind of gauging if this is a good opportunity for you to take on now.
for you. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
I want to highlight Sienna's answer to the same question. I think it's a very concise way of putting it. So Sienna said, it is recommended for those who plan on applying within the next two medical school application cycles, with priority for those who apply in the 2026 cycle. So if you're still, undecided, you're still early on in your journey, maybe it's okay to hold off. But if you think or you're more sure that it's going to be in these next two cycles, then definitely put more thought into applying for this upcoming program. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Jonathan.
Hi, hello. Just a question I had was, do you happen to know what date would be the in-person sort of meetup for the for the program?
I believe we don't have an in-person one. Um, so you wouldn't have to worry about um, meeting up in person. I don't discourage maybe if like you maybe have a group of people that you really connect well and would want to like meet in person or to work on stuff like writing and that kind of thing to build community. But as far as our curriculum and our program, we don't have an official in-person date.
I wanted to add something to that. I'm Sienna, by the way. I'm MiMentor staff. As far as in-person programming, I wanted to echo Monica's sentiment that we don't have official MSR in-person programming. However, there is an opportunity if the cohort is interested in having in-person socials throughout the program. That's something that the fellows can poll for availability. That's something that we have had in the past where fellows have polled for availability, and there were in-person socials that were held throughout Southern California, Northern California, and Central California, so that MSR students who are in those regions could get together and we did nature walks. So we met up at different sites. I think I forgot what the specific sites were, but that's how we did the social in the past. And it's definitely something that is up to the cohort and up to the fellows to coordinate. So I wouldn't worry too much about having to save that date so far in advance since availability will be pulled if it becomes available.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
I was wondering, I sent it in the chat too, but after you guys review the MSR applications, what's the rough timeline for the 9 months?
Yeah, so our first workshop is scheduled to be on the 28th of September, and we usually end program sometime in May, if I am correct. So that's the rough 9-month timeline.
Cool, thank you.
Of course. I do also want to share with you all that this is recorded, so if you missed a question or would like to view the video or the recording, you'll have access to it. We'll post it.
I also see a question in the chat that says, what is the MiMentor Health Equity Fellowship? Is it different from MSR? Those are two different programs. This program specifically, MSR is really to prepare for medical school applications, so medical school readiness program. And the MiMentor Health Equity is a completely different fellowship, also a long-term fellowship where you can do more involved with public health and more of like social justice in health. I think maybe Sienna can provide more information about it, but they are two different ones. So I just wanted to clarify that they're not the same fellowship.
Yes, I can see why they might be confused because MSR is 9 months. The Health Equity Fellowship is 8 months, so they're similar in length. MSR is for 120 students that are being served annually, who do participate in twice a month workshops for those 9 months. The Health Equity Fellowship is for 5 students that are being served annually who are part-time at different clinical sites throughout California.
I also see a question in the chat that someone's asking, Veronica, what are the criteria on getting into the MSR oh my gosh, MSR program, and how are applicants selected? Maybe we can like touch on that a little bit. I don't think we had broken it down in the slides necessarily, but yeah, maybe we can start to talk about that as well, like what's included in application. We do, I think some people have asked about portions of the application. So we ask for like information about like your like a science GPA, your cumulative GPA, 15 activities, people who may or may not write you a letter of recommendation, and there are some essay questions. Sienna or Monica and Anika could also feel free to jump in, but I think we do review this to make sure you have a complete application, as well as we do like a holistic application review based on the information that you've shared with us on the application.
Yes, echoing Karina's answer, I think that some other criteria, while you don't necessarily have to be first generation college student, that is something that we do prioritize serving our first generation college student population. Also with wanting to serve underserved communities, that is something that we prioritize in the students that are selected as a part of MSR. And that is something that a lot of like the the narrative responses speak to oftentimes. So definitely I would advise those of you who plan on applying to review MiMentor's mission, review MSR's mission, and to really ask yourself, like, is this in alignment with your values and your goals and the community and the kind of physician that you want to be, before and during your application?
There's also another question in the chat that says, how does each section look like, or like what do the sessions look like? And each session can look a little bit different. Our usual format is we do have a guest speaker, usually from one of our partner schools, and just from the slides before, you can look back at the recording if you're interested in looking at them again. But it will be like a guest speaker from one of those schools. A lot of them are like deans of admission or just like experts really in their fields. And so they provide a workshop in the first half of the workshop, and then we have a small break. And then at the second half of the workshop, there's normally small breakout rooms, or once we start doing mock MMIs, they could be mock MMIs as well during that session. So it's kind of split into two parts. Sometimes they're even split into two separate workshops, one speaker in the beginning and then one speaker in the second half. So it really does vary depending on what the topic is for that Sunday. But that is the general breakdown of the workshop.
I do see the question, can you clarify the MCAT mentorship program? I hope that I answer your question or I'm interpreting it well. So when we present on the MCAT, we don't necessarily do problem solving or kind of more like material based. It's more like how maybe you plan to approach like a study schedule, more of maybe how to get information on the fee assistant program. It's more catered that in that sentiment or that sense. Um, so rather than it being more like problem solving based um, information. I hope that answered your question. If not, I could totally clarify.
I see a question in the chat about MSR sessions. Are these recorded or do we have to be live? And I wanted to verbalize my answer that I had put in the chat, that yes, with the permission of guest speakers, the sessions are recorded, and that there is usually only one guest speaker that does not permit recording. And as far as do you have to attend live, we highly recommend that you attend live. However, we understand that things come up and that 9 to 12 p.m. Pacific time may not work with everybody's schedules. With our We have breakout rooms and mock MMIs, and those have to be attended live in order to participate. But as far as the actual presentation, that is recorded and provided to students. But I believe that Monica shared that it definitely is what you make of the program, and you will get the most out of the program if you are able to attend a live as much as you can, with that built-in flexibility of if something ever comes up, you are able to refer to those recordings.
Hi, Jennifer, go ahead.
Hi, I'm not sure if you already mentioned this, but aside from the Sunday workshops during the week, is there somebody that we, like, if we get accepted, that we're assigned to that, like, during the week that we are, working on our applications that we can go to or like meet up, like virtually or in person, whatever works, to kind of go over the sections that we are currently like working on for the application?
So to answer your question, the way the workshops go is we have mentors that volunteer to come to the session. You might not be assigned the same volunteer every session. Matter of fact, I would say that you're not. However, during that session, if you really connected with this mentor, you are able to ask for their email or ask for maybe a form of, how to connect with them. And I highly suggest that you take that on and work with them whenever, if the opportunity allows. But to answer your question, you aren't assigned a mentor from the beginning. Um, as far as, and if somebody can help me answer this, the MMI part, is there a mentor that's assigned? I think there is a portion where of the sorry, go ahead and chime in if you can answer this. Um, there is a portion where I
Oh,
believe,
if you
yeah, go ahead, Angelica.
No worries. So similar to what Monica was saying, I think she was spot on, where at the beginning, you don't really have a fixed mentor. It's more you have usually like a medical student or sometimes they're a doctor who's, volunteering or, some other person who will be in the breakout sessions for that Sunday that you're with. So you can feel free to interact with them. If you really click, like Monica said, you can definitely take it upon yourself to continue that relationship after. But later on, there is an opportunity to get assigned to a mentor, and this will be your longitudinal mentor. That's also one of the reasons why it's super important to try to attend as many live sessions, because we are trying to pair people with the mentors in the long run. So your longitudinal mentor will be the one who you can go to for more like like nitty gritty of your application, really talk about your specific application, what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. So that mentor will be the one who helps with that. And normally you're able to communicate with them a lot more easily if their schedule allows. But this will be someone assigned to you that you will be able to review your application with and really go to them when questions pop up during the week. Send them an email, send them a text, whatever the mentor prefers. But this will be someone you will be assigned. And as Sierra mentioned, these pairings normally happen around January. So not right at the beginning of the program, but yes, towards January is when that pairing happens.
Okay, thank you.
And I just wanted to add and plug a really cool success story of a student. I was just recently at a conference, I think the Health Equity Summit in Pasadena, and one of the longitudinal mentors, I got to connect with her. We invite her back to speak annually. She's the Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at um, the medical school that is in I think Colton. It has California in the name. It slips my mind at the moment. But she actually was paired with a longitudinal mentee through MSR, and they went on to publish multiple papers together. And her longitudinal mentee just matched into psychiatry in California, so it's really exciting and a full circle moment. It's definitely those longitudinal mentorship relationships, they do really benefit the mentee, and definitely there's lots of exciting opportunities to just really stay connected and for the mentor to pour into your application and your journey. So as Angelica said, come to as many live sessions as possible because you can actually have the opportunity to request certain people that you might connect really well with. So through maybe a mock MMI or we have writing workshops too. So if there's someone that you mesh really well with and you want to learn more from that person, there is an opportunity to voice that.
I see we are kind of slowing down now. I'll give us maybe 1 or 2 more minutes to get those last questions in, and we can wrap it up officially. And if you do have any pending questions that maybe you didn't get a chance to share with us here, don't hesitate to reach out to us via email or interact with a social post. Ask your questions on there. Of course, yes, no problem at all. I'm glad that we were kind of able to do this and answer some critical questions that you had. And I think with that in mind, then I'll go ahead and say thank you to all, and thank you to the fellows and Sienna who helped out with this session. I think it went pretty well. And I'm excited to read all the applications and kind of see what the program is going to look like for the new cohort coming in. And yeah, I think with that, we can turn to the last slide, and I think it says, thank you. Not, it's okay, I verbally said it. Great, yay.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank